Let me be honest, there are many things in life that I am not good at, and one of them is hiring people. As a business owner, you would think that that is something that comes natural to people that are managing people or building a business, but the reality is that it doesn't. Welcome to the Basics of Bossing Up. I am Allie Love, where we discuss basic principles in order to get the lives we want. All right, so in this particular video, one of the most common questions I get about around Love Squad is hiring. I am so fortunate enough to have had my team in place for a long time. But the funny thing is, in this particular moment, as I decide to address hiring, I am in transition. A few of our teammates are moving out. We've also are onboarding new people. We're expanding. We are defining roles. We're in this period of transition. And one of the things that I've learned about myself over the course of the last 2.5 years of having a business and managing people is that I'm actually not good at hiring. However, that does not mean that I don't have good advice around hiring people. The one thing that I do want you to know is that one, when it comes to building a business, you will not have all the fundamental tools in order to build that business. Hence why in a previous Basics of Bossing Up video, I talk about outsourcing. Outsourcing is really important, and I can tell you right now firsthand. Here's, I'd say, a couple ways to identify if you are not quote unquote good at hiring people for your team. One, if you fall in love with a sad story like I do. I am someone who, if I meet someone and I'm like, they tell me they work hard, that they really need a job, or they really want to try something new, or they're really passionate about women empowerment, I believe every word that comes out of their mouths, because I think if you're going to take time out of your day to sit with someone, apply for a job, you're going to be honest to them. And not saying that any of the applicants that I've ever interviewed has told me lies. I'm just identifying that if I hear any of those key things right away, I'm just going to believe you. The reality is that most people don't know their own potentials, just like most people don't know their own flaws. So with that being said, when you are hiring someone, you want to be able to vet. You want to be able to prompt them, ask them the right questions. And I've actually taken a poll of my friends who are entrepreneurs and asked them how they've hired the team that they've hired. And many of them will say, that they will come in with a set of questions, and they won't deviate from that. Some of them at the end are a little bit more fun and thought-provoking. Other of them are pretty much more in line with what the job description involves. They don't get too much or too caught up in allowing someone just to tell me what you want to do with your life kind of thing. Allow them to rant on that. A group of other friends said that they actually go off energy, vibe, like vibing with the right kind of person is important. So it depends on what kind of person you are. But one of the stumbling blocks that will happen is that you will allow this person to kind of ramble on about what they're passionate about, why they want to work for you or your company, things like that. When the reality, and here's where the real advice comes in, you want to come in with a set of questions, particularly pertaining to that specific role and how they're going to be effective. You want to ask them what examples they would do. Could they, I would say in some cases, but if not most cases, could they follow up with some type of project that is pretty similar to the role or to the ideas or to the aspects that you need that person in that particular position to provide. So you want to give them an exercise that they can take away from the interview, come back, and then show you some of their work in a hypothetical sense. Also, make sure you have a list of questions. Do not leave it open-ended where you are just asking them questions that are saying like, how do you feel about this? Or what do you want to do with your life? Or are you passionate about these things? Most people want to set an impression. Their intentions are to set good impressions. So keep in mind that is the case, is that everyone is going to try their best because they don't want any person, whether it's a job interview, a random person that they met on the street, to think any way poorly about them. They don't want anyone to think poorly about them. So stumbling blocks of hiring. Make sure you don't just ask open-ended questions. Make sure you vet the people before they come. Look at their emails, take resumes, look at their skill set, invite them out, have structured, detailed questions. And then I would say my last piece of advice before I go, the most important piece of advice, if you don't think you are the person to do that, you don't have the capabilities, here's the biggest thing: outsource it. Tap a friend in to you who's a part of your network, have them interview for you. Have them boil down candidates so they get to two, do the process of elimination, have the real context, the real conversation, and allow them to kind of set structure so that your strategy is a success. That's just my tidbit on hiring. A lot of you have a lot to say about hiring, so go ahead, comment galore, give advice. This will probably lead into another video because we need to talk about more. Thanks for tuning in to the Basics of Bossing Up. I am Allie Love. Check me out later.